Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
My dad was sick 2014. I mean, we had just come back from an Alaskan cruise with the whole family. It was super fun, all this. He goes on this trip, golfing trip, right? He's 7 years old. He goes on a golfing trip and he's having fun with his friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And he calls my mom and he's telling her, oh, I'm just really tired. But we're thinking, you're just kind of old, right? You know, like,
Yeah, sure.
in Chinese style, it's like, suck it up. You're old, right? So just suck it up. So then he comes home and he mentions it again. And we're like, well, we should go doctor. But, you know, typical. I don't want to go doctor. And his doctor is my uncle, right? So he's like, I'm going to see him in a couple weeks or whatever. So no worries. Okay, whatever. So I don't want to argue with my dad. So the next day I was visiting him for like lunchtime. And he says something about, oh, my feet are swollen. I go, really? So I look at his feet and they literally look like this. They would look like football. I was like, oh my God, how did you even... Do you need an Amazon box? I told him to fit your feet because that's how we talk to each other. Right? He's like, I'm like, you better go doctor. He's like, I'm not going doctor. So my wife comes over and she has a laptop and she shows him some like WebMD or something on the internet, right? She goes, you're going to have a heart attack. Look. He's like, oh, the internet's saying I might have a heart attack. I better go doctor, right? Because obviously they don't listen to us, but you know, some site on the internet. Right. So we go and do all the tests. They do all the tests and it's basically, oh, you're just dehydrated. Just drink some Gatorade. But then in the morning, my uncle calls in earlier and he says, you know what? I looked at all these tests. You probably have cancer. You need to come in. So as he was going in, my uncle redirected him and he said, no, you got to go to the ER right now. Like, okay, I'm going to go get my clothes and stuff. He's like, no, you go in right now. He said the white blood cells were like almost 200. It's supposed to be like 4 to 8, right? So we go through this whole long kind of like cancer journey, and where we moved him to Seattle, it was about 2 years he was there. I was there for about a year. That took a huge toll on my family. My wife ended up getting kind of sick, you know, but our family came so much closer together. And the nice thing about that is, I mean, honestly, as I was growing up, I didn't really think my dad liked me too much. Like he would tell his other people maybe, you know, some nice things or so on, but he doesn't ever really say it to me. You know what I mean? So in the back of my mind, I was always thinking like, I don't think he liked me too much. But during that time we were able to spend together, there was just a lot of, you know, time you're just in the hospital. I mean, sitting there for like weeks, you know, or whatever, and you're just sitting there. So, and the interesting thing is whenever he thought he was going to die, the conversation completely can change and we can have, you know, a bit more moments. So these things are so tough though.
They are.
You know what I mean? And I never understood it until I had to go through it.
Exactly.
And the strain it takes, what it takes from everybody. Like my sister, my brother, and I, we would spend time in Seattle and then go home. So I would spend 3 weeks and then go home. And then my brother would come in for a week or something, you know, go home. My sister would come in and we would kind of rotate it out. And that was like for 2 years. So, you know, the families have to be in it. But I just like you said, I've seen the entire opposite. And if then you have the opposite where there's just conflict and then you got to go do your work and something at work happens and then there's a blow up and then people are like, oh, this person, you know, they have problems or whatever. But they have no idea what they're going through. I mean, that's hard.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.